Well, good afternoon, my friends. I would like to officially welcome you to the first Tea Time with Kate. I am out in my front garden. I have a beautiful cup of tea. We are in between storm clouds. So if it starts raining, we're just going to soldier on. But I'm actually drinking a very special tea today. This is a blend that is inspired by my dining room garden. This is a blend called Lavender Rose. Some of you from the Proven Winners event I did with Janey down in California received a little swag bag sample of this, but it is a beautiful rooibos base that's been enhanced with lavender, rose petals, rose hips, elderberry, little bits of blueberry in there. And it just is this floral, delightful, kind of like a great afternoon blend. So what is Tea Time with Kate? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. It's you, me, friend to friend, cup of tea, answering your questions, giving you garden advice, just as if you're a friend sitting here right with me in the garden. The first question is actually from my dining room table shopping video. That one says, it's at Live for the Weekend 632. Love, love, love the green chairs. Sad you left the little orange mushroom behind though. Guess I'm off to World Market. Wish me luck. Well, I may have left the orange table, but you can see right beside me, I have the turquoise one. This is a beautiful, beautiful, playful, gorgeous side table. And I am so excited to use this in some of the new spaces that I am creating around our property. All right, next question is from at Mindy Bond 9166. Lamest question ever. What is the brand of your pants? I love them and your videos. Okay, Mindy, this is not a lame question at all. Those are actually a pair of overalls and they're made by a company called Dovetail. Dovetail is a company based out of Portland, and they are solely focused on women's workwear. And I will tell you, as a woman who works physically for a living, I find that it is so refreshing to come across brands who are focused on women, how we live, how we work, and it is just a joy to come across a well-designed pair of overalls. So those overalls, they're called the Freshly Overalls. I'll leave a link to them below. I'm not affiliated with Dovetail in any way, shape, or form, but I do really love their workwear. And what's so cool is they've got a little pocket at the top and it holds like garden twine and it has a little hole that you can pull it out of. So when I'm needing to go around and tie things up around the property, I literally can tuck a ball of twine into that front pocket, have my snips with me, and it is just, it's so easy. And I love that they are thinking of us gardeners. It's just brilliant. Chef's kiss. Love it, love it. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in seeing my workwear / overall collection and what I really love to work in, leave a comment below. I am constantly listening to you guys and have a whole roster of videos that I think would be fun. And that's what I've been kind of itching to make. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Okay, next question. Our next question is actually just a comment and it cracked me up. I was laughing endlessly for days and days. It's at Asalind4584 and this was on the Janey garden tour video. It says, quote, I have so many figs. I don't know what to do with them, end quote. I have one fig. And this just cracked me up endlessly because the very first year that I planted a turkey fig at my mom's house, we got one fig and we literally sat there and we divided it in fours and we all just savored that one fig. And I think now we're up to maybe like 4 figs. It is not an impressive fig in our climate. But yeah, I'm with you. Janey's tree is so productive. And I wish figs were easier to ship because they are so delightful. So anyways, I'm right there with you. All right, next one was actually from my container maintenance video. And this one is from at CatJCK11. It says, another great and informative video. Wondering, I have containers that have exploded with growth, massive impatiens and begonias. Should I trim them? And she's in zone 9B/10, super hot and humid right now. I don't want to hurt the planters as they are beautiful, but becoming messy. Thank you. Okay, so here's what I will say. You are very early on in your growing season, and if they're looking messy now, they are going to be a hot mess in a few weeks, a few months. So I would say absolutely trim them up. And honestly, I've had really good success trimming up my impatiens and my begonia. Now, with your impatiens, I'm not sure if this is like a New Guinea impatiens, a sun patiens, or a regular standard impatiens, but my standard impatiens, I can straight up give them a buzz cut 3 inches above the crown and they just poof right back. They are lovely and they take very well to a pruning. The thing that you are going to want to keep in mind is make sure that you are hiding your cuts right above a leaf pair, so you also are encouraging that lateral branching. With begonias, same thing, and actually a lot of begonias are super easy to root cuttings from. So again, with your begonias, just make sure you're hiding your cuts, doing it a little smidge above a leaf node that's coming out, and it's going to bush out and look beautiful in no time at all. But I would much rather see you do it now than in a month or two and have just a total hot mess on your hands. Okay, this is also from the same video, and this one is from Jackie Peters 8583, and it says, I love your container gardens. I rent, and I have a very small front porch, but also live in Southern Ontario, Canada. Do you have suggestions for what types of plants that I can put into my containers? She goes on to say that 2 of them are exposed to full sun until about noon, and the rest are mostly shaded on a porch or near a porch until the very late afternoon. Would love some suggestion, thanks. Okay, so there are so many plants that you could utilize in this scenario, but I think what might be the most helpful is how I can guide you and how I can help you towards choosing the right plants for you. So for those that receive morning sun, that sun is always more gentle. And so what you're gonna look for when you're at your garden center is a tag that says part shade to full shade. Okay, now part shade, you don't want to go with anything that's like purely full shade, but part shade means it really can't handle the afternoon sun, but it can handle a healthy dose of morning sun. So that is going to be in the vein of some of your coleus, some of your lobelia. In terms of trailers, I would put in a creeping Jenny without a doubt. You know, I have even stretched some sweet potato vine into morning sun conditions and it behaves beautifully. But this is also where you can get that like sweet texture game. I mean, you could put in an elephant ear. I mean, the world's your oyster, right? Now in the afternoon, you're going to treat that a little bit differently. Now it doesn't say from here, and so I kind of have to read between the lines, but when you're dealing with something that gets afternoon sun, that sun is going to carry a little bit more heat and more intensity. So on the plant tag, I want you to look for something that says part to full sun, okay? So what that means is you can tease it into a little bit of shade, but it's really gonna want some afternoon intensity for it to flower efficiently. So again, you're looking for part sun. And again, it's just the world is your oyster. There are so many options out there. And so as long as your brain knows kind of which direction it's headed, have an awesome time. Remember to go for lots of texture, lots of great color, and play with things, because what I've discovered is things that do well for me in my garden may behave differently in your garden. And in fact, when I work with a lot of my clients, sometimes the first little bit, I'm really closely observing what my plants are doing. Because when you have things like a porch or a covered area, or maybe you're up against a brick wall, you may be producing a microclimate that is going to want a different type of plant. So be adventurous. Don't be afraid to fail. Get out there and have a really good time. Okay, the next is also from that same video, and it says, I really enjoy your videos. Learning to go out of my comfort zone with my container plants. Oh, and this is from Jackie Lamb's 7208. It says, you've inspired me. So first of all, thank you. And I'm so proud of you. Get out of that comfort zone. A question, if you can indulge me. I have a container that is mostly Supertunia petunias. They are getting so heavy that they are separated in the middle. Should I trim them up? And if so, how much? Okay. This situation that you find yourself in is, I think, a situation that a lot of people get into, and we are afraid to trim back a petunia because we don't want to lose those beautiful blooms. Well, I am here to tell you, do not be afraid. This is your garden. It is your party. Get in there. And so here's what I would recommend. With a petunia, you can do one of two things. You could take your petunia and you could like high ponytail it and then give it a cut. They are such a durable plant that I don't think that would be an issue. Or you can do what I do, which is I selectively prune. I want all my pruning to always look really natural. Now, don't be afraid, you are going to sacrifice a few blooms in the interim, but what you're going to do is starting kind of from the centermost of the plant and then working your way out, the center is going to receive the shortest haircut. So you're going to take it down maybe, I don't know, 3-4 inches from the crown. You're just going to want to make sure, again, to cut it above a leaf pairing. As you go further and further out, your cuts become further and further from the leaf base or from the crown of the plant. When you do that, you end up with a petunia that looks like it is still regaining some of that growth structure, and it isn't like a straight buzz cut across the top. That's going to give you the most natural looking prune. But from my experience, petunias need some of that weight lifted. Otherwise, you just end up with like a sad sack of a bad haircut. So don't be afraid to get in there and do it. And worst case scenario, the plant grows back. It's like any bad haircut. Your hair will always grow. Okay, next question is from at Diana Cambelataro 6499. And this is a really interesting question. This one is from the container video I did where it's titled Beautiful Container Garden Veggies. It says, gorgeous. I have the 20 by 20 by 38 inch self-watering pot and was wondering if I can use pool noodles for a filler. Will the plant still get water? This is a super interesting question. So in case you haven't watched that video, what she's referring to is the Crescent Garden self-watering containers. Now, if you were to take a profile shot of that container garden or that container, what's kind of cool is it kind of goes down at a V towards the bottom. So I can see where a pool noodle would be like the perfect filler for the base of that. However, this is a self-watering container. And so the whole how this is engineered, the plants are so darn smart. What plants do is they will send a root down, kind of searching for that pocket of water, and the whole basin of that container is a reservoir. Well, if you put a pool noodle down in the bottom, your root isn't going to have a good time searching for that. Instead, what you want to do is when you are initially filling this container, I want you to fill in just that most bottom part, and I want you to take your fist and I want you to pack it down. What we're doing there when we are packing it down is providing a firm pathway for that root to descend through to reach the water reservoir. As you put in each individual layer, you want to go ahead and pack that down some more. You don't need to punch it down, but I usually kind of like do a little claw method. It's very official. And I'll just kind of like make sure I'm compacting down the soil as I go. And so, like I said, pool noodle, 86 it, don't use it. You really want soil and therefore roots going all the way down to the bottom of that Crescent Garden container. Friends, thank you for coming along to the first official Tea Time with Kate. I have loved doing this Q&A, and I will keep my eyes posted because I feel like this could be a series that we start here on the channel answering all of your questions. And if this tea sounds interesting to you, keep your eyes peeled on my website. We are doing a slow rollout of pre-orders for all of our beautiful blends that are going to be launching, and the first will be shipping July 15th. So get those pre-orders in. I'm going to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, please say hello to your garden for me.